Hello, my name is Larry Miller. I'll be walking you through how to read your water meter. So, reading your water meter is something where I notice that there's a bit of lack of information and even some misinformation out there. So, I'm here to clarify that and to help you hopefully learn something. So, first off, where is your water meter located? So, this will vary by wherever you live. If you have an alley, your water meter will be located most likely in the alley. If you do not, like say Sandalwood, then your water meter will be located in the front of your property near the sidewalk. In almost every case, your water meter will be in a concrete box with a lid that says water right on it. Sometimes the lids are made of metal, but regardless, they both should say water. So if you were to open that, you will see something that hopefully looks a little bit like this. This is a product view, but yours won't probably be as clean. But most water meters are of this style. We do have some other variations of it, most notably the Badger E series, which is what we're moving to. But they're effectively the same thing. They just have a LCD screen, and instead of being what is known as a displacement meter, which is what this is, it's a sonic meter. So it's just a bit more advanced, a little bit fancier, but reading it is effectively the same exact thing. In both instances, you read what is called the register, and the register looks like this. So this is a water meter register. You'll note on this one that it says that the register reads in gallons and that it's 5/8 of an inch. That's where we vary. Our water meters are 1 inch and they read in 100 cubic feet. That's a little bit irrelevant for the point that I'm making right now, and that is the only numbers that are meaningful to what your read shows are the first four numbers. So starting leftmost to right, you would take the first four numbers. For example, I know this says 00000, but let's pretend that it says 1578621.4. So when the meter reader comes by for the month and reads your water meter, he will record your reading, and the only number that's going to record is the 1578. It's going to ignore the rest of those numbers, so they're mostly irrelevant. They're a little bit relevant, but not really to what we're doing here. So how does this relate to your water bill? Well, let's have a look. So here's a photo of my water bill. I took out kind of some personal information, and I kind of narrowed the scope down to what it was that we're actually looking at. But I'm sure most people have seen this. They know what they look like. They've paid them. So yeah, here's kind of how that works in regard to meter reading. So you will notice the first line says water base, and that is what is known as the flat charge for your meter. Most homes, if not every home, has a 1 inch meter. There's very, very few cases where you have larger than a 1 inch meter, and most likely in those cases you know that you don't have a 1 inch meter because you have to request them specifically and they cost significantly more. The water base is the amount that has been expressed that it needs to maintain that meter. So when your meter breaks, we can replace it, have them on hand, replace parts of it, service them, that sort of thing. So that's what your water base is. Next line, you see water consumption. So here's the real core of the idea. We'll start with leftmost, and that is the previous reading and the date that it was recorded. So in this instance, the previous read was done on 05/05/2021, and the reading was dated to be 2987. And the most recent reading was on 06/03/2021, and that amount was 3003. So now let's do a little bit of math. To help me, I'm going to bring up a calculator, because nothing's worse than doing math in your head and being wrong about it and it being recorded. So let's just all do it here. Okay, so you begin by using the first four numbers of your most recent reading. This can either be from your bill, or maybe you want to go have a look at what your meter is now. So in this instance, I'm going to use the most recent reading on my bill. It says it is 3003. Okay. Next, we subtract the previous reading, and in this instance, it would be 2987. But if you were trying to see where your usage was at now, your previous read would be what your current reading is on the bill, and your current reading would be the number that you're looking at on your meter. Hopefully that makes sense. So anyway, let's see what this equals. 16. Well, that's not what my usage says, and there's a very good reason for that. As I said earlier, our meters register in 100 cubic feet. So there's a pretty easy formula to convert these numbers, and that is current reading minus previous reading multiplied by 0.748. That will produce usage in 1,000 gallons. So let's try that. I have my previous reading and my current reading, and that is already equal to 16. So we know that. So the only step that we have left is to multiply it by 0.748. And that's going to give me 11.968, which is very close to what the usage shows on my bill. So now the amount that it says that I owe is $27.29. How does that number show up? So if you take your usage at 11.97 and you multiply that by the water rate, which is 2.28, multiply it by $2.28, you're going to get $27.29. And that is the usage portion of your bill. Now you would add your water base, your natural gas consumption, your sewer bill, which is also based off your water use, I believe, and the rest of those things, and you would add that, and that's how much you have to pay at the end of the month. It's worth noting that if your previous read is higher than your current reading, that is something called a rollover. So what that means is that a water meter, a water meter register, see all those zeros? All those zeros will eventually be nines. So when that happens, it rolls over to be back at zero once again. So there's some cases where your previous reading will be larger than your current reading. And there's a slightly more complicated formula to determine your usage when this happens. Let's just go ahead and go over it. Get my calculator out here. So we're going to imagine some numbers here. And let's say my previous reading is at 9,975. Okay. And my current reading is, we don't want to do that. My current reading is 12. So to figure this out, we take the current reading and we add 9,999. So current reading of, like I said, 12, add 9,000, 999. That's going to give you 10,011. Then you subtract the previous number, which in this case, we're pretending my previous usage was 9975. That's going to give me usage of 36 cubic feet. And then we just apply the same multiplication factor, which is 0.748. That's going to give you your usage of 26.92. Then you can then multiply that by $2.28. That's going to give you your usage amount. It's very rare that you run into this instance, but it does happen. Yeah. So I believe that is everything. If you have any further questions or need assistance figuring all of this out, please contact City Hall. We work Monday through Thursday, 7 o'clock to 5:30. Thank you.